All right, now let's look at the initiative by the European Central Bank to set up Target 2. And John, do you think that's going to make a big difference to your business in terms of the efficiency to settle?
I think it will start to. Yeah, we're clearly it's getting us on the road, but again, it's one of these vaguer pieces of work that has to be done and carried out over time. So it just starts us on the road.
But the only thing there is it goes live in 2013.
Yeah.
A lot can happen by that time.
Yeah,
this is the other thing. Yeah, in certain elements, regulatory change is needed, but the rate at which the market moves is much, much faster than the rate at which the regulators then bring out new policy. And so, how do you bring that together and work smarter as well?
I mean, the fundamental problem is we're just not bringing down these costs, isn't it? I mean, the ECB says aiming for 29 cents of a euro for a trade, but we're a long way from that now.
Yeah. And again, how 29 cents of a euro will fare in 5 years' time, it's hard to say. I mean, if you look at the changes in the tariffs, even of us, of LCH.Clearnet, we've gone down quite substantially over the last 12 months. And you can see how pieces of infrastructure could do that in the next 5 years to a point where the 29 cents that are being heralded now as a great number is not anymore a great number. I mean, I would say that anything that talks about harmonization has to be good. But, again, how exactly that harmonization is being achieved is still a bit of a question mark. And,
I think it's very important to distinguish the effect and the possibility of competition in the trading, clearing and settlement space. In clearing and in trading, competition is possible. In the CSD business, in the central depository business, nobody has tried because nobody thinks that they will actually succeed. So the CSDs are going to remain national monopolies for as far as we can see. The T2S project aims to lift something that could be common and pan-European out in order to develop a pan-European infrastructure, but keeping the integrity of the CSDs in their own legal domestic environment. So I think competition has driven down prices in trading and in clearing. But competition is unlikely to really materialize in central depositories. And therefore, I believe T2S will serve a good purpose to have the economies of scale in one layer at least to drive down the costs there and have an interim solution.
Tom, could you ever see a bank like Citi getting into the depository space?
Not in the depository space. That's not where we think banks should operate. We think financial infrastructures should very much be independently regulated and viewed as market infrastructures, and you shouldn't try and build business models around that. So I would think that highly unlikely. I think T2S is 5 years out. The challenge between now and then is to continue to innovate in that settlement space on top of where T2S is going. And it just shows how difficult the settlement space is to change. 5-year project, and we really don't get consolidation. And I think that's a very interesting...
I think I'd agree. I think one of the things is the regulators need to stay pretty close to market evolution here, because a 5-year plan, whether it's coming from the ECB or whether it's something that's coming from the FSA on MiFID or best execution or from the Treasury itself, ultimately I think nothing stands still that people can work for 5 years and get to the end point because there's competition in that space. So there will be innovation there, but somebody needs to take a step back and say what's happening to systemic risk. They're starting to do that at the CCP layer. They will do that when it gets to people coming up with innovative solutions to take cash and settle stocks in the CSDs. And I think it's really important as the markets get more complex that the regulators stay as close as possible and understand what's really going on. I think that's what the credit crunch and what the US subprime has actually indicated to the market. There needs to be a bit more governance going on as all of these market solutions just pop up and are sold into the marketplace.